Hello, welcome to the Trash Picture Show. My name is Burton, as you well know. Tonight I am joined by the lovely, gorgeous, and fantastic Jennifer Mitchell and her devious yet somewhat sultry son, Christian,
I can confirm.
and another sexy bastard below us, Trenchy, the soulless trench coat. My kind of springboard topic, it's just going to be random chill chat. But the springboard topic is VHS rentals for memories. This is kind of a thing. I intend on doing a project to do a compilation of people's kind of treasured memories from video rental stores. But this is just to get the ball rolling, and if people want to fucking talk and chat about it, and anything else as well. This is a free form chat, usual Thursday night chill stream. So feel free to fucking hop in, hop on, and chat. So, oh, we have DMC Campbell.
Hey
DMC,
guys,
do you want in on this? Here, hang on a minute. I'll
Grumble.
pop your link into DMC.
Well,
Welcome in.
DMC.
Welcome.
But Jen, how important was your local kind of video rental store to you growing up?
Actually, very treasured memories growing up. That was like the best part of the weekend was actually because usually every weekend it was a treat. My mom would let me go to the video store and let me pick out a couple of movies to watch for the weekend. And I had a pretty cool mom, so she'd let me get horror. Sometimes I'd get like kids tapes, but a lot of times I'd get horror. And it was something that when I did it when I was little, and even as I got older, it was just one of those things I did. It was part of my
They're
weekend.
frozen.
It was just in movies. That was the best part of being as a kid. Some of my best memories are of that. And it just was really really fun, and it was and it made me feel like an adult because I got to pick what I wanted to watch. My mom would let me pick out a couple of tapes, so I got to choose, and I had some say so over something. And as a kid, that's always cool when you have even a little illusion of power.
Was there
So
was there one tape you rented over and over and over again?
there was a lot of tapes I rented over and over and over again. Let me try to think. It was usually horror. Surprisingly, they were horror tapes. Which one? What did I rent a lot? I rented the Michael Jackson Thriller tape a lot. Actually, this is Thriller. I love that music video. I watched it and I loved the dancing and the theatrics and the music. And I'm sure there were others. I can't think of one that just stands out right at the moment, but I know there were tapes that I must have rented every time because I just loved it. It was my favorite thing about being a kid. It was just pizza and videotapes. That was my weekend. I was cool like that. And
What?
and the
What? Oh, sorry. After you, Jen.
Oh, I was just gonna say, and the it was a wonderland, like the covers. Like that's one thing. I'm gonna sound like an old fogey, but kids today do not know what is cool to do a blind thing of based on something of just of a cool cover. And sometimes you get gems, and sometimes it's total craps. And those covers lied to you, but you still were willing to take the chance the next weekend. Like you'd get a movie that the cover would look so freaking cool, and then you'd be like, oh. And then other times you got hidden gems. But I think that's like one thing about the generation. They do not know how cool it is to get a movie just solely based on the cover. Cover art's a lost thing, and that's kind of sad too.
Do you think the current generation with Netflix and streaming they're missing out, or do you think we're
Yeah,
just dinosaurs whose kind of forest is burnt to the ground now? What do you think?
I think both, Marty, because I think that there's pros and cons like with everything else. Yes, there is. Yeah, they could say we don't have to get dressed to watch a movie, and we don't have to hassle with returning them. But there's something about the experience. Like I think it's sad that you kind of had a little bit of experience.
I had it with our Hollywood video.
But it wasn't as much with you as it was with me. There was something to be said about going and picking out tapes, and you made friends. Like I made friends with one of the guys that was in behind the counter and stuff, and he would let me get tapes that were probably too old for me, but he thought I was a cool kid, and we talked horror. So I made a friend. He was a little older than me. He was he seemed like an adult. He was probably a teenager at the time, but he was and I made friends with him, and we would talk horror. and that's kind of a neat memory too. There's kind of a communal thing about it. There's something neat, and it's something neat to watch the guy going behind the curtain where the dirty videos were. Always wanted to go behind the dirty videos. Of course I did, Marty.
Have you any memories of what your old store looked like, or was there anything you liked? Was there any particular feature? Was there an arcade machine? Was there posters? Were there standees?
There was neat posters and standees, and I could kick myself because they probably threw them away, and I didn't think of dumpster diving at that age. God, there was probably a treasure trove of stuff there in their trash can. There was probably, and I wish there had been. As for the actual layout of it, was called Take Two Video, and it was neat. In the kids section, it was an actual castle thing. It wasn't a real castle, but they built a castle thing around all the kids tapes, and you went inside, and that was kind of cool. And I'd often rent, like my dad got me into Rocky and Bullwinkle, so I would rent a lot of Rocky and Bullwinkle. And then there was a horror section, and then it expanded. It got to where it was really popular, and there was like a game room with an air hockey and gumball machines and a few other things to do. And when I was a teenager, not only would we rent videos, but me and my friends would go. And a friend of mine, we played air hockey. I got really good at air hockey there. So,
nice.
Yeah. So
fun times. Yeah.
Actually, no. Before I go on to you, DMC, apologies, dude. Christian, as yourself and Trenchy being a younger of the crew, have you any memories of like going to the VHS store? Like, was it the same store your mum went to, or a different one?
No, it was a different one. Hollywood Video was the one when I was a kid. I remember going there. They closed down when I was like 7, though, so I don't have a lot of memories of it. But I do remember going there and renting like bad horror movies usually.
And we would find some real unusual. Actually, Marty, to answer your question, it wasn't when I was a kid, but I rented. They had a really cool tape at the Hollywood Video after the Take Two one closed down, and it was Confessions of a Necrophiliac, and it also had a documentary after it of Dean on it. And I must have rented that hundreds of times. I freaking loved that movie. I was like, ooh, Confessions. I saw it first. I was like, oh, Confessions of a Necrophiliac. It was deranged, but on the one thing in the cover, it was Confessions of a Necrophiliac. And it was awesome. I rented that movie over and over and over again. Not surprising to anybody here, I would imagine.
Do you think you're on a watch list now? Do you think there was some kind of that was left by, I don't know, the DOD or the FBI or something, just to see who'd be booked enough to rent it out? Or
I was the only one who rented it too.
Of course you were.
Oh, and in Take Two Video when I was younger, because that was a little bit more of adult. When I was younger, the movie that I rented all the time was Faces of Death. When I was a kid, I rented Faces of Death. I'm not kidding. All the time I rented Faces of Death. It was like one of my favorites. So those are the two movies I rented a lot.
The Christian, the Hollywood Video, moving swiftly away from your mother's bizarre fetish in VHSs. Was there any kind of gimmicks or things you liked about Hollywood Video when you went there? Was there any was there a games room? Was there?
You rented the games a lot, like the video games.
I don't remember doing that.
You did rent the video, and we had Hastings also for a little while.
Yeah, Hastings when I went, but that was more of a buy place. No, I can't think if there was any gimmick specifically for the Hollywood one. It was just kind of like it was a refurbished Blockbuster, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. But I actually preferred.
I liked it too better
because you could find a lot of off-the-wall movies that weren't necessarily mainstream, particularly in the horror stuff.
And they had a lot of weird fucking horror movies on there.
And a lot of bad, like, sci-fi movies and stuff, because you would rent those.
Yeah, they had a whole section for just Sci-Fi Channel original movies.
Oh, Jesus.
That would be a good question for Trenchy and for Christian, because you grew up in both. Do you see that Netflix is better, or do you kind of?
I mean, I have a lot of nostalgia for going to the video store, like you said, on the weekend. But also, I grew up with mostly like Netflix and stuff, so I'm more used to that one. But I do think that probably video store you got a little bit. The movies were a little bit more special at that point because you specifically made an effort to go get it, as opposed to Netflix, where you're like, I guess I'll watch this.
And sometimes if you got the right worker behind, you could hear their opinion and stuff, which was cool.
DMC, have you any memories of renting out VHSs from your local video store? Unlike Jen, did you rent out anything involving corpses or corpse sex or anything? Or just...
that was later. But no, I used to love going to the video store with my dad. Would go there like each Saturday and pick. It was like a specials 5 for $10. Would be like up and down the aisles. I could spend like hours in there. I spent one time 2 hours in there, and it just like time just went really fast. But we'd get things like comedies, John Candy movies, and later on action movies. The only thing my dad hated was me trying to get out horror movies. Like looking at the covers of them as well. I was attracted to the Demons cover.
Oh, that's a good
one.
That's a good one.
But he said, no, we're not getting that. You're far too young for it. But when I got older, I could get out anything I wanted. Yeah.
Did any guys have now? Some might call it good parenting, some might call it bad parenting. Saturday night, my dad used to take me to Pace Video or Hurdy Gurdy, and I could rent out anything so long as, I think I told you this, Jen, no tits, no riding. That's what my dad said. He'd literally go up to the counter. I'd be like fucking Dark Angel, not the thing with Jessica Alba now, the movie with Dolph Lundgren and the alien. It's like, he'd go up tier 1 at the counter. I think there was like an 18-year-old girl who was just doing her like fucking work placement, and is there any fucking sex or riding in this movie? and she's like, I haven't seen this. I haven't seen this one. So yeah, it's weird. Like, Jen, was that rule ever attributed to you? Were you allowed rent stuff with like?
Pretty much was allowed to rent whatever I wanted. My mom was pretty. She knew. Like, I think you got to know your kids, and this might sound like an easy answer, but she knew I knew the difference between reality and fantasy from a very early age.
Oh, you're so lucky.
I understood the concept, and she was pretty cool, and I never had any nightmares or got freaked out, so she was okay with that. She was okay. She would usually roll her eyes. I know another movie that I rented a lot was Nothing But Trouble. With Chevy Chase and Deneen Moore.
Oh yeah, that's great.
And I rented that one. She didn't understand why I got that one. She never said anything, but she's like, "Why do you like that movie so much?" So
that scene. Oh, that's Flipper.
Yeah.
Ben Grimm said, I worked in Blockbuster when they switched from VHS to DVD. We took home the boxes, the VHSs and boxes of tapes, and could keep them, but we also had to break any tapes we didn't take home. Ah, that's a shame.
Yeah.
I suppose. See if Moon can come
Hi,
in.
Moon.
Yo, Moon.
Hey, Full Moon.
Oh,
Trench, any memories of renting out or getting VHSs or the like?
well, more DVDs. We have VHSs, but that was more just movies I had as a kid, and then my dad had a VHS collection. I'd go to a video store and had a couple DVDs. We actually went to one that was closing down, and it was sad seeing all the shelves pretty empty and stuff, and they were selling all their stuff. And we bought a movie from there called Hellbinders, which wasn't the best movie, but it was a thing. I did more getting movies from the library. We would rent out movies from the library because that was closer.
Oh yeah, same.
Also, big shout out to Ben Grimm, Ian, and well, Moon's with us now, but big shout out to everyone in chat. Trench, is there? What was the rule? Like, could you rent out anything, or were your folks fairly lax with what you could rent out, or was it like, as Ben Grimm says, like typical American families, my parents didn't care if it was the goriest, most depraved horror, but if it showed any kind of nudity or sex, it was a no-no. Essentially, yeah, that's the same thing with my dad. Because like, fucking sex is bad, but, disemboweling someone, grand. What about that, Trench?
It just, I guess it was like I lived with a couple different people growing up. It was like depend on who was in charge. Like my mom was weird. She would show us horror movies, but she didn't want us watching wrestling because it would make us violent. But she was fine with like Terminator and stuff. It was really weird.
Well, in fairness, I suppose, like, you could, like, climb up on a coffee table and jump on your brother's head. It'd be a lot easier to, like, then get access to a sawn-off shotgun and try and see if you could blow your brother's head in two if it had, like, come back together again.
Oh, we did wrestle on top of a table once, and the table's leg broke.
Oh no!
Hi, Ethel.
Hello, Ethel!
Ethel!
I had that
Hey,
same experience as
how
you,
goes it?
Trench. Like my mum would be okay with me watching Nightmare on Elm Street. Like she actually brought the VHS of Nightmare on Elm Street home, and also Chopping Mall. But my dad would be like, "No, you can't watch horror." But there was just a little bit, just weird, weird
Yeah.
experience.
So your mum was, like, pro-horror, and your dad was, like...
Yeah, she was a bit
Like-
more lax on that, but my dad was like the opposite. Yeah, weird.
Okay.
See, I was lucky. My mom, even with sex scenes and stuff, she was pretty lax about that too. And she just explained to me, you know, Jen, preferably it's people doing this when they're in love, preferably at least doing it safely. She just used it as another teaching tool for me. Maybe
That
that's why I'm
sounds
such a pervert. But she was okay with sex too. She was very forward thinking.
Jen, you're the most chaste individual I know. Don't ever say that. My God, it's like, guys, it's like going out with a nun. It's like a church. She's the church mouse when it comes to sex. She's like, oh, don't say that.
Don't say
Oh no. Moon,
It's like, don't.
what's your experience?
It's called naked hugging.
Moon, what's your experience with going to the video store?
We didn't. I live out in the boonies, so we didn't go to like the big video stores like Blockbuster and Hollywood and all of that stuff until like the DVD era. VHS was like your local mom and pop in the back of the gas station, kind of thing. So, you know, my parents didn't care what I rented as long as I didn't try to go into the back room to rent something.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, I was limited in selection because again, it was, you know, the little mom and pop shop. So you mostly got either really cheap, low budget, second gen VHS tapes, or you got the big Hollywood blockbusters or the big horror franchises. So, which is probably why, you know, I love the Big Force as much as I do, because, you know, that was kind of about half the horror section that they had in those days.
Yeah.
Right.
That's a good.
You guys got to remember, I'm old as hell, so.
I don't say that. Don't say that. You're only as young as you feel. I feel fucking 80. Yeah, no. But like, was there any movie you rented out repeatedly, even though it mightn't have been a great movie just when you were younger? You're like, it's like, oh, I love this movie. I'm gonna rent it over and over and over again, to the point where your dad or your parents are like, why the fuck are you doing this? Play it. It's on TV. We can record it. Why are you renting it over and over again?
I don't really remember there being a whole lot like that. I guess the first Jaws movie and the first 3 Fridays were probably like that. I know I rented those a ton of times.
Okay.
And Toxic Avenger was another one that I saw a lot of times back then.
That's a good movie.
Yeah, I'm glad I finally saw that. Yeah, it's great.
Yay!
Oh,
The guy getting his arms deep fried always fucking does it for me. I love that scene. Ethel, what's your experience like when you were growing up? Had you any pleasant memories of video stores renting stuff? And had your video stores any kind of gimmicks? Had they like an arcade area, games area, anything you can recall? Or...
Oh yeah, like there's this one place I used to go all the time, like because like not only did I used to go to the public library to rent videos, because they did have a limited video selection there, and like you could rent them for free, which was great. God help you if you returned them late, though. Oh God, but
Oh yeah, the late fees.
yeah, no, there was a oh they were brutal at the library, but no, they had we had what later became Movie Gallery. We had Home Vision Video, and that was pretty cool because it was right next to the supermarket. And I used to rent videos there all the time. Oh, gone! We lost French. Oh, he's back. Never mind. I used to rent videos there all the time. It was cool. They had a decent selection. Once you rented everything, though, it's like, you know, 'cause it's not like a Blockbuster or like a Hollywood Video, like a really big chain. I mean, it was a big chain, but it was more like a regional chain. They had a game section, which was pretty neat. But mostly I just went there for the videos. Then there was this other place called Captain Video, which also did television and VCR repair. I used to rent stuff there. Like they had one of those adult only rooms in the back, which you're not supposed to go into, but you know sometimes you do because it's like what's behind the door. Let's see what's on the door, and then you go and it's wall to wall fucking dicks and boobs, and it's like Jesus Christ, what have I got into?
2 wooden doors.
What was your folks' approach to you renting stuff? Was it a case like me and like Ben that like you can watch stuff with as much gore as you like, but no tits and fucking sex and dicks and shit like?
Oh, I could watch whatever I liked as long as I didn't point out that it was like rated R. Like, because I made that mistake once, and like I had Kingdom of the Spiders, which I got from the store, and it was my video. It was my personal video, my VHS. And I pointed out that it was rated R, even though there's no nudity or foul language in it. It was rated R, okay. And my mom actually confiscated it from me. She took it and she put it up on top of the cabinet where I couldn't reach it. And I'm like, oh, come on. It's like there's nothing bad in it.
What age are you at the time?
I think I might have been like 6 or 7. And I'm like, well, what? No. Like, this is my video. I've seen it already. I've already watched it. Like twice or whatever. And
you're already
that's
corrupted.
like
I eventually got it.
In the barn. That's insane.
Like, I got it back. Like, it was a couple years later, I got it back. I climbed up onto the counter, and I was able to reach it, finally, and get it back.
Kingdom of the Spiders.
Take my
hey, Dino, how you doing? Yeah, it's weird. Parents are weird, like, because they're like, Dad used to let me rent like most other stuff, like fucking, like he's like, he used to let me like rent fucking gory horror and stuff like that. And then one evening I went to like rent Schindler's List and he goes, fucking don't rent that, that's depressing. I'm like, okay. Like,
Marty, it was really. Oh shit!
What?
I was to say it was really ironic because like it was really ironic because I had Caddyshack and Easy Money, which both feature dirty language and there are boobs, and Caddyshack has like a full-on sex scene in it, and like no problem with me watching that.
Weird.
But God help you seeing William Shatner take on spiders. Ben Grimm bims up a good point, but I'm going to reverse it in a bit. But Trench, did you ever rent out a movie because you thought the cover looked cool, but it turned out to be shit?
Hellbinders, and I didn't rent it out. We bought it, and it's not horrible, but it's not great.
What was on the cover that made you? Can you remember what was on the cover that made you rent it?
It looked like they had like a pentagram, I think, and then there was 3 dudes with a gun. There was a big dude, and it had Ray Park, who played Toad, and Darth Maul. He was in it. He was on the front. I was like, oh, that's the Toad guy. He's an X-Men. That's cool. And then you watch the movie, and I don't know. There was also a samurai in it.
It was good. So you got chipped by the cover. Ethel, has there ever been a movie that you got chipped by the cover?
Yes. Oh my God. Friggin' Evils of the Night. Actually, I got it right here. Guys. You want to see it? I show it to you. Hold on.
Oh boy.
Okay. I'll do solo layout.
And this wasn't even that long ago when I got this. As you can see,
That's
the
awesome.
Millennium. Yeah,
God
like we
damn,
got skeleton
that woman is
things,
cool.
I love the tits.
like you think.
Yeah,
Ha!
that lady is cold. That's all I'm gonna say.
Oh God.
Hey, it's cold at night. But like, look, you got the Millennium Falcon here. I don't know why it's got 2 pods on each side. I don't know. And then you got like the aliens in the moon, and they're sucking their blood out of her throat, like skeleton hands. You think it's gonna be awesome. You think it's gonna be great. And then you watch it, and it's just boring. Very, very boring. This is a terrible movie. The cover is cool. The movie sucks. And there was no Millennium Falcon.
Oh man.
They lied. They fucking lied. Dino, what movie caught you out? Leave in the comments below, guys, if any movie caught you out. Give us a look at the back again, Ethel. Give us a look at the back again. Oh God, that looks so fucking bad. That looks so cheesy.
Well, I thought it would be cheesy but cool, and it was cheesy and boring. And it wasn't even very cheesy. It was just really dry and slow. And although this version, I get both. I get the TV version and the full version. Ooh. Both. Spoilers, both versions suck equally. It's just...
I might look for the art, though. The artwork is amazing. I'd like it on my wall just for the art.
This would make a badass T-shirt. Like, if I could get this on a tank top, I'd be wearing it, even though I hate the movie. But I'd still wear it.
Okay, give us one more look at that
Put that
woman's
right
full
up.
chest again.
Here, let me get it real close so you can, like, in all its glory.
God damn. They could cut glass. They could cut fucking glass.
Yeah. Someone's definitely going to horny jail for drawing that.
Amazing.
Dino says Bleeders from 1987. Great cover, but awful movie. Has anyone ever seen that one? No?
No.
Have it.
I must look up the cover. What about you, Boone? Have you ever been caught because of a cover? You ever been like, this is gonna fucking rock? And then you watch it and you're like, what the fuck? What the fuck?
Yeah, but I can't think of the name of it.
Can you
It was
remember
one
what the cover
about-
looked like?
The cover was a big like snake, big like a rattlesnake, and it was just like the inside of its mouth, and it was one of those that was embossed covers, so that it was 3D kind of thing. And I can't remember the name of it, but it turned out to be this this really low budget knockoff of Texas Chainsaw Massacre, but instead of that, there was a big pit in the backyard, and I think that was what it was called, was the pit, but I can't swear to that. And it was
throwing people into snakes, yeah?
Yeah, and the guy was breeding rattlesnakes in this huge pit in the backyard. That the people who had the place before them, it was a rundown gas station, and that they used to have boards across it that they drove the cars out on to work on the cars. And these people took it over, and they were breeding rattlesnakes in the pit.
That sounds like an awesome premise, but it wasn't.
Yeah, it sounded like a good premise, and this is VHS day, so it was so dark you couldn't see what was going on.
Okay.
You had to get up and turn the brightness all the way up on the TV, and everything was just kind of gray. You really couldn't see anything.
Too bad. Missed potential. I would be for Texas Chainsaw Massacres with rattlesnakes. That would work on me with so many levels.
That would work on so many levels.
Yeah. It's you know, the right person could do it really cool now if they didn't CG it to death.
It's true.
Go.
Fill it with rubber snakes.
That's about what it was.
Marty.
DNC, had you gotten gypped or had you gotten caught with any VHS covers? You're like,
Yeah, one was.
Yeah,
one was called April Fool's Day. It's got the VHS cover. You've got the lady with a kitchen knife behind her, standing in front of a party of guests. And I thought, oh, there's going to be some full-on, murder. People are going to die. But then in the end, it turns out to be just a joke. No one dies in the movie. And so I thought that was. I just didn't get into that whole thing. I just wanted to see people die, and then
Well, what about the first death with the boat? The guy getting crushed by the boat at the start, or the propeller.
Oh, it's just the whole reveal that it was all was a joke. It just it's a letdown.
Yeah, I wasn't a fan of that movie either.
That's interesting because that's actually one of my favorite '80s slasher movies. I'm in the camp that actually loves the reveal of it was all a joke. I actually really love that reveal.
It's just stop it. There was a cool cover too. Didn't she have a hangman's noose in her hair? I always liked that cover.
Yeah, the cover's dope, but yeah. I know a lot of people who hate the fucking ending though.
I'm not a fan of it either.
I loved that one myself, but
I get that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, also Moon, I think I found your snake movie. It was called Rattlers from 1976.
Okay.
I think I found it. It matches the script.
Rattlers.
I'll have
Good old Rattlers.
I don't know. RTTLERS. 1976, Christian, right?
1976. I think that's the one. I could be wrong, but that's the closest thing I could find.
What bad tape do you have?
This is very cheesy.
Yeah.
You gotta brace yourself for Rattlers.
Look at that cover. Look at that.
Is that part of the movie?
Yes, that's the second movie where somebody takes a bath with snakes now.
Oh,
that's the second movie I found with that scene this year.
Oh, God.
Just fill the bathtub with them.
Oh,
I think we're gonna have to fucking review this.
no, we're not.
I think I'm gonna have to make you watch this at some point. This looks like it'd be a good video.
The great thing about a snake is it's naturally exfoliated.
That's true, Ethel. Marty, trash fire.
No.
The bathtub, Marty.
Fine,
Yep. That's the one.
Okay.
Why are you not going to review it?
Oh, man.
Okay, all right.
As much as I love teasing your mother, I'm not going to fucking do that to her.
Here's a movie for trash fire if you ever seen it.
Creature.
Fucking Marty, you got to do Wild Women of Wongo for trash fire. Check that one out.
Yes, Wild Women of Wongo.
Okay.
Oh my God, the parrot, Christian, the parrot.
The parrot.
The fucking parrot.
Okay.
Another movie that had a really cool cover, but
Right.
wasn't a bad movie, but was not a good one. Was The Graveyard Shift. I saw that, but that they had that poster in the ARV thing forever.
What about Hell Night for you? You have
Hell
that sort
Night.
of Hell Night as well.
That's a horror. That's an interesting cover.
Oh shit, that's dope.
Moon, is that the cover?
Are you on IMDb? Is that
no?
Okay. I think that's the right movie, but on IMDb they have another cover for it, and it's like the snake head up, and it was a 3D version of that one. Is what I remember, but I was like 10 or 12, so that was 30 years ago or more.
Who's counting?
Yeah. I don't have to count until July, so I'm good.
But yeah, Graveyard Shift though had a really cool. It was a skull and it was a hat and it was a really cool cover. I always thought it was
not terrible.
It's not terrible, but the cover makes you think, oh, this is going to be a lot more badass than it was. So.
Wait, is that the one with the giant rat back?
Yes, it's based off a Stephen King short story.
Oh, that's interesting.
I love Stephen Dwarf, fucking
Brad
Dwarf, and that was the Vietnam vet exterminator.
Yeah.
It's not bad. It's just you think it was a little kid. You think, oh, this is going to be a little bit more cooler than.
That's
it was.
interesting. You mentioned. I've heard a lot of people say like that's a de facto memory of from a video stores. I guess that was a big one that they always had the poster up for Graveyard Shift for a while. Because I know a lot of people talk about that one, even who are not horror fans talk about Graveyard Shift because of the poster.
But in a reverse, there was a thing where there was a cover art that I thought, oh, this is going to be terrible. And it turned out to be like one of my favorite movies. And that would be Sleepaway Camp 2, because they had the Freddy glove and the Jason mask. And I thought, oh, this is probably going to be silly. And I stayed away from it. I didn't rent it for the longest time. And finally, I ran out of everything to rent. And I rented it, and I ended up loving the movie. Yeah. But I thought that cover was like, oh, it's too on the nose. But so it can go either way.
Hello to the horror man as well. He's in the chat. How you doing? But yeah, like any other memories of your video store? Like again, growing up, there was the other video store I went to was Hurdy-Gurdy's, and they had an NES in a cabinet, and they had one game that you could play, which was Paperboy, and I could never make it to day 2. But yeah, it was good fun. And I remember so many covers, the horror section. There was one I remember that it was an anthology, and one of them had this guy with a mustache who kind of looked like Bargain Bin, Tom Atkins. A snake was growing out of his shoulder.
Ooh,
that sounds awesome.
There was another story that this nun kept on vomiting bats. The artwork on the cover was cool, but I can't remember what it was. But the guy literally had a snake growing out of his shoulder. Sorry, Ethel, were you going to say something there?
Oh no, I was just going ooh.
Yeah, the art was cool. Primal Rage with the fucking the baboon on the cover, and then the baboon gets run over, and it's just about a bunch of zombie rapist jocks at a Halloween party. Yeah, I was disappointed in that one. Fucking yeah, zombie racist jocks. Hey, Strange Monkey, what's up, dude? Guys, what's your favorite memories of VHS stores you used to frequent, and what movies caught you out? What did you think was going to be awesome because of the cover, but turned out to be kind of meh?
I had this other place I used to rent videos from too, Marty. It wasn't as close as the Home Vision. Oh shit, gone. We lost Jen and Christian.
I'll be back.
They'll be back. It wasn't as close as the Home Vision video was. It was in Westbrook. It was a few towns over, and it was cool because it was a pizza place. So like you'd go in there, and like you'd see the guy and he'd be tossing the dough in the air and he'd be, doing the whole 9 yards there. So you'd order your pizza, and while you're waiting for your pizza to cook, they had a wall, and it was just a whole bunch of movies, and you could choose like rent a movie, and like you rent it with the pizza, and you get the movie for a discount versus if you just rent the movie on its own. So like that's where I got to see Attack of the Killer Tomatoes and like Weekend at Bernie's and things like that at the time.
Weekend at Bernie's.
Rented for the pizza. It was great. They had good pizza too. That place, sadly, that place is gone now. But like, they had really good pizza and they had movies and like, so there was good pairing. Like, there should be more video rental / pizza places. Like, this is a untapped market.
So, Strange Monkey says he remembers renting Child's Play 2 because of the box cover, and it was awesome. Ethel, do you think kids are missing out nowadays with the likes of Netflix and streaming? Do you think there's something inherently kind of like, I don't know, it helps family bonding, or it helps go, it was a social event that's now gone the way of the dinosaur and the dodo, do you think?
Yeah, absolutely. They're being robbed. They are being robbed of like a fun time, because like it used to be a big deal. Like a lot of people, like we used to do it on Fridays around here. We'd either go to the pizza place, get a video, or I would go out to the video store. Sometimes I'd do it on a Saturday or whatever, and my mom would go to the home and garden store next door. They had like a greenhouse place next door. But you're missing out without a video store, because like there's something special about walking up and down the aisles and looking at all the covers, and like you got the smell of popcorn in there, because some places they have popcorn, they'll pop for you and you take it home, which is a really cool thing. And and I miss it, because like you used to go through, you'd see sometimes they'd have a big cardboard cutout display for a new release. They'd have the little TVs showing the test video of like whatever new movie's coming out or the coming attractions. And, like, it's nice. Just go up down the aisle and pick a movie off the shelf. The cover tracks you. You pick it up, you look at it, you read the back, and you got to decide, hey, I can only rent 1 or 2 movies tonight. Is this going to be the one? Like, is this what I'm going to go with?
The other thing is sometimes, like I'd be on Netflix and I'd be scrolling through about 60, 70 movies, and I'm like, the fuck will I watch? It's like there's too much choice, if that makes sense, or am I talking out my ass? Like,
and they're not always there as well. Like if you go back, say a month later, that movie will be gone off Netflix.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it's not the same as going to a store and picking up I don't know what it is. Maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm just old-fashioned, but I think that there's something special. Like you get that connection with the physical media. People are very tactile. You want to pick it up and touch it, hold it in your hands, look at it. You've got the glossy cover. Some covers are fancy. They're all embossed. You got that cool cover from the movie Mirror, Mirror, where it had like the hologram in it.
Mm-hmm.
Like we've only got one DVD store left now, and that's only supported by the community. Otherwise, that would go under. So yeah, we used to have in the city about 4 or 5 different DVD video stores, but yeah, just one left out of the whole region. Yeah.
We have a local chain here that does they do DVDs, music, and books. They just recently expanded into books a few years ago, and they seem to be doing well still, but like given recent events, they've kind of taken a hit. And I've noticed that their selection hasn't really been growing. Like they're not getting in more. Like there used to be this place you could go and you could find like the random ass old movies and stuff there, but now it's more like they're starting to phase into just the new shit. Like they're not picking up all the older stuff, like the 70s and 80s and 60s, not coming into the store as much. It's all just new crap, like the 2000s era films, and it's like, what are you doing, man? You're killing your business. Who wants to see that new shiny movie?
Is that bumming you? Is that bumming you out?
Yeah, it bums me out. It bummed me out a few years ago. I went into Portland. There used to be this great video rental place down in Portland, and you could actually, if you lived within a few miles of the store, You could order a video and they would deliver it to you.
Nice.
It was cool. They had the greatest selection too, Marty. Like they had crazy films. Like they had like Frankenhooker and Blackenstein and like they had really weird stuff there, and it was cool. They any video store that has a section labeled incredibly strange films, you know it's something special.
One Trench, what were we going to say?
No, I was laughing. I agree with Ethel. That's awesome.
Yeah, and it's like I went there and I went to go rent there, and I walked down the stairs because it was downstairs in the building. Walked down into that basement. I went to take a left, and the steel gates were closed, and the store was black inside, and there were no shelves anymore. It was just bare concrete. Gone.
Oh,
Gone. I almost cried, guys. Got to say, I almost cried because they had a great selection there, and they had some real gems. You could rent Roger Corman's Fantastic Four there.
Jesus.
Oh.
Like it was crazy, like the stuff you could rent there, and like you could rent independent local films there too. Like they had this film Cold Cash, which was by a guy that I think lives up in Farmington or something, which is way up north. Which wasn't bad. It was a movie about a kid who ends up driving an ice cream truck for the summer, and he ends up having to sell weed out of his ice cream truck. And then a rival ice cream truck weed dealer tries to run him off the road and kill him, and then he gets into big trouble with his dealer. It's like they have fist fights, and like he's a drunk and he can't leave his property, and like, oh, it's great.
It's a shame that store isn't there anymore. Junebug might be able to like get some of these movies out there, like through that rental place.
Yeah,
definitely get the Holiday Intruder in on that store.
Did anyone experience any of the negative things? Like often you'd get a stack of DVDs, and a lot of them would be scratched to buggery, and they'd skip, and people just wouldn't look after them that rented them before you. It's like clean the shit before you send it back to the store. Clean the disc. Yeah.
Or did scratch it, or some motherfucker obviously used it as a coaster. Yeah,
that was the only bad thing. Yeah.
Like that's one of the advantages VHS had over DVD is it tended to be more durable for rental.
Yeah.
Except for like sometimes people would like pause and rewind, and like you could tell what they were doing with the VHS, because like you'd be watching it and all of a sudden the quality would get really poor, and like you'd have to hit the tracking on the VCR, and it's like it's obvious what's going on here with this tape.
Yeah.
What? Why is this scene in Species 2 so badly fucking?
Never fails. Every time it gets to the part with Natasha Henstrich's boobs, you have to hit tracking. What's going on with it?
Some fucking arsehole, right? I don't know who it was. If they're out there, if they're still alive today, fuck you. So I was so excited when they re-released the special editions of Star Wars. I rented out Empire because I was like, yes, let's see better quality Empire. Rented it out, and the first sign was that someone had shoved a little block of paper in the square of the thing. I'm like, okay, what the fuck is that? And I put the video in. Movie starts. Then Italia 99 or Italy versus fucking, was it Bayern Munich 1998. I'm like, what? Some bastard had used the rental tape to record a fucking match. Can you believe that? From the rental store.
All right, I'm not always in favor of the death penalty, but that right there,
Who fucking does that? Who,
Showed you how
what?
cheap they were. They couldn't afford a blank.
Yeah,
blank
it's
copy.
like, yeah, I guarantee you it was probably some fucking scumbags who were like, oh, I want to watch fucking kids review Star Wars. Fucking pricks, boy.
So they take this over with like a soccer game. Is that what that is? Is that soccer?
Yeah. Spain
Yeah.
versus Bayern Munich, 1998, I think, or something like that. It
Oh,
was a friendly. It was a shit match as well, which wouldn't.
Which made it
That
worse.
fucking made it better.
if it had happened here, it would have been American football that they would have taped because of the cultural difference. But still,
One day,
it's awful.
one day. Yeah.
Like
Time for the bowl.
that's definitely something. That's definitely something jock douchebags would do.
Trench, have you ever had a bad experience at a VHS store?
Trying to think. Well, of course, getting movies from the library, there'd be scratched DVDs and stuff. Or some, like, I don't know how this happened, but a couple times the DVDs were switched. Or even if, like, you go to, like, a little rental, like, not a rental, but, like, a little pawn shop or pawn store, or, like, a little hole-in-the-wall DVD store, you'll go to get DVDs. We tried to get Cursed once, because back when we thought Cursed was going to be cool, and Joyride was in the Cursed case.
Oh,
But we didn't know.
That happened to me before. That's how I got to see Glass House.
There was a dude that used
Somebody
to work
swapped it out.
Oh, sorry.
No, I just said someone had swapped it out with another movie. So that's how I ended up watching it.
There was a dude in hurdy-gurdies called Tim, who like he was big into movies, but he was a pain in the hole because like you'd rent a movie, he goes, oh, you're getting this, and check out the ending. Fucking Ripley splatters her blood onto the windscreen of the fucking spaceship, and the weird human alien hybrid gets sucked out, and I'm like, I wanted to watch the fucking thing, you prick. It's like fucking. I think my dad rented out Clear and Present Danger, and he told me the end. And my dad was like, "You know something, Timmy? You're a fucking bollocks. You should be working here and all."
Oh, I saw that yesterday. Oh, that's a coincidence.
I had a friend who used to work at. Oh shit! I had a friend who used to work at the Blockbuster, and if people, I had a friend who used to work at the Blockbuster, and if people asked him like what's a good movie to see, he would purposely recommend terrible movies. Like he'd recommend they get Geely and shit like that.
What an arsehole!
It was cool though. He would sometimes he'd steal DVDs from Blockbuster, and then he'd sell them to me for like cigarettes. It was pretty cool.
Yeah,
We had a video store where the owners would actually put up photos of people that hadn't returned their movies and had obviously not taken them back at all, kept them. So it's like they knew not to give out movies to again. You know, like name and shame kind of wall.
Wait, how would they get the photos of the people? Like
Just an
CCTV or?
Yep, and they'd put a next to it, you know, just to publicly shame them, because it was like costing the store to try and, you know, track these people and get the movies off them, and yeah.
After a certain amount of rentals, though, those DVDs and VHS have paid for themselves a few times over. So it's like, I don't know, it sucks when it happens, but you know, it's not a total loss.
Yeah, it's just a lot of hassle trying to get stuff back from people.
Yeah, right. I don't know. I do think it's terrible that streaming has sort of taken over the place of the video store.
Well, even libraries have streaming services now. Fucking libraries.
Yeah, and how are you going to charge a late fee on a streaming service? Answer me that, library.
You're supposed to be reading books.
I want
That's another.
to. Oh, sorry, sorry. That's one.
What's a book?
That's another thing. Friggin' books. Books are getting replaced with friggin' easily amendable internet, you know, and download your books, Kindles. Like I know it's ironic. I'm saying that I'm on a Kindle right now, but it's you know, people need that experience.
I get what you're saying as well. It's like comics and stuff. Like no one buys comics anymore. They just download them and shit. Like,
Yeah.
This might show my age, but before, and this might be a European thing. Maybe DMC remembers it. Maybe someone else remembers it. So my neighborhood, there used to be a dude who drove around in a van with VHSs, boxes of VHSs. Did anyone ever experience that? No.
Yeah.
No, not when it came to videos. No.
But Moon, you had that same kind of thing with like a dude who'd drive around with boxes of VHSs and you'd rent them.
And not like out here in the area where I live specifically, but if you went into actually went into town, you could find them a lot of times. Sometimes they'd be set up in people's parking lots. They would be, especially if you went over towards the not as good side of town, you'd find them selling stuff out of the trunk of the car. You'd find them set up in sidewalks in front of businesses.
Yeah.
The poop figures.
Right? They used to like they drive around the neighborhood, and it was always shit because I remember in the box. I remember one particular box was Syndicate, Pirates of the Sand, Jaws was good, Jaws 2, fucking Gone with the Wind, a couple of aerobics videos. The Greatest Golfing Hits. Ooh. And like I think there was a couple of kids ones, a couple of VHSs of Care Bears, and that was it. Like, and you took them because that's all you had. And like I do remember your man. Obviously, he had broken into some fucking cargo container because like one week. Everyone like in the neighborhood got to see Robin Hood Prince of Thieves. He just arrived with a box and there was about 20 cassettes of Robin Hood Prince of Thieves. I was like, what the fuck? So yeah, it is weird. And anyone in the chat ever experienced that? Someone going around with like a box full of VHSs in the boot of their car?
Sound like the video mafia.
Sorry, DMC?
Sound like the video mafia.
Yeah.
Yeah, around here it would be like where they had taken and photocopied the covers of it and made, backroom copies of the tapes and had taken it, and stuck it into one of the cheap clamshell type cases.
Yeah.
And then when like home CD and DVD burners came out on for computers and stuff, they were all over the place then.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Well, it's
that's one of the things. Oh, sorry.
What is it? No, you go.
That's one of the things I miss about VHS is they were much easier to copy and pirate because like I used to do that all the time because like movies were expensive, and
Yeah.
like I'd go to the video store and I'd rent like 5 or 6 movies, and then I'd get like an 8-hour blank tape, and I'd put it in one VCR. I put the movie in the other, play, record, and I would own that. Like, I got so many movies that way, and then they came out with DVDs, and it's much harder to steal those.
We did the same thing, Ethel. My parents, we had 2 VCRs, and that's what we did too.
The amount of like fucking pirated tapes I have are ridiculous.
Yeah, we did the same thing.
Oh yeah, it's like you didn't want to steal, but it's like I don't know. Hard times, man. Hard
knocks
times.
at the door.
Exactly.
I do remember my dad was delighted one Christmas fucking Jurassic Park was finally shown on TV, and he's like, "Dear, fucking record it," because there was like one summer all I rented was Jurassic Park. I think I rented it out 8 or 9 times in a row. And he's like, "Look, get something else, anything you want, fucking anything, like." Anything at all, and he was begging me to get another movie. I was like, "Oh, I want to get Jurassic Park."
Oh.
And she's gone.
Go.
Jen, Jesus, she's gone.
Oh no!
She just realised her boyfriend's a loser who rented out Jurassic Park 8 times in a row one summer. I'm sorry.
No, she appreciates your love of dinosaurs.
But actually, recording stuff. Did you guys ever record stuff off the TV? And like, how did you get around like the adverts or stuff like that? Or did you have to record it with the adverts, or like Ethel, go on, blast us with your nostalgia.
Like I was the queen. I was the queen of taping stuff off television. Like I had it set because like if I wasn't there to watch something, I'd program the VCR to do it, and I'd have it, change the channel, record it off the channel. And if I was there, I'd sit there and I'd watch, and every time a commercial would come on or I know the break was coming up, I'd hit pause. Then when it came back on, I'd hit pause again and start the recording all over again. I edited out all the commercials if I could, of all my favorite stuff, because commercials take up space on your blank tape, and it's like you could fit 8 episodes of something on a tape, or you could fit 4, and it's like, what would you rather have? So I edited those out. I just pause, record. It was great. I still have all those tapes. Everything I ever did.
What about yourself, DMC? Did you ever record anything off the TV? And do you have? I still have my Christmas copy of Jurassic Park. I even made a cover. I cut stuff out of the RTE guide and pasted it onto the. Like Jesus, I'm going to bring that actually. I'm going to get that from my folks and show you.
I tried to get my dad to record episodes of MacGyver, because we used to get it over here, and he'd like only record half the fucking episode, or he'd leave the sound muted. So like half the episode there was you'd hear them talking but no sound. So yeah, just would try and record episodes
oh my God,
on
how's
TV.
MacGyver going to get out of this one? No, Richard, no.
It's like I can't hear you. But yeah,
that was the biggest bullshit about back in the day. VCR volume and satellite or cable box volume. Why is that a thing? The television has volume. I don't need to control, because somebody would watch it in the other room, right? Turn the volume down on the satellite. Yeah. I'd go to record it, and the sound would be super fucking quiet. So when you watch it, you got to turn the TV up to 100, and it's like, why do this? Who thought this was a good idea? Like, if it's too fucking loud, turn the TV down. Don't turn the cable box down. What the fuck?
Struggles your generation will never understand.
I guess so.
Moon, what about you? Did you ever any kind of misadventures or adventures recording stuff from the TV?
Oh yeah, I recorded tons of stuff when I got my VCR and stuff, and I would take, and I had like a stack of tapes that were older tapes kind of thing, and a stack of newer tapes, and I would record on the brand new tapes, and then the ones that I had recorded on a few times, I would take and put them. I would take from one VCR to another VCR and record those onto the ones that had been used 5 or 6 times to edit out the commercials. That way, instead of trying to sit and watch it and do it, because it never failed, I would always be too late on it or something. So I was, kind of OCD about that. But once I recorded on the tape 3 or 4 times, then I would move it over to the other stack. So.
Marty, you were talking about how you'd cut the things out of the what is it, the TV guide or the what would you call it?
On the cover, yeah.
Yeah, I used to do that too. Here's my copy of Nick Fury that they had on TV.
Oh no!
Yeah,
Go.
Bro, that's the best
David
cover ever.
Look at that. That makes it look awesome.
That looks better than the movie.
Yeah.
It does.
See, and I got the old printout labels. Yeah. So and then I'd label the tape because sometimes you forget to put the tape back in the case and then you get them mixed up, and that's like video roulette. So you don't want that, but yeah. It's kind of faded, but you can see where I tried to add color, and I colored in the letters.
Very cool.
See, there's blue. But I don't know. That was what I used to do. TV Guide was a great source for these sorts of things because they'd always have a big advertisement when they go to show a world premiere, guys.
World premiere.
I remember my brother got me fucking Alien for my 11th birthday. He got me a bunch of Alien figures and Alien on VHS. About 2 months later, I was like, I want to watch Alien again. I turned it on, and the TV show Ear to the Ground, which was a documentary. It was a kind of documentary TV show about agriculture and how farmers need to kind of change their. Dad had recorded over my copy of Aliens, so he could see. He could see what the headage was going to be. Oh, what's that one, Ethel?
This Voyager, I used to take Voyager too sometimes, and see, I got this one because the TV Guide had a color picture. They had color pictures in this one, and on the back, I took the description. Oh, hold on, I took the description from TV Guide.
I did that about the Jurassic Park one. I done their kind of thing. I wish I'm going to show that off. I'm going to get it with my folks and show it off.
And again, we got the old style friggin' labels because I had a label maker, which improved my life greatly when it came to this sort of thing, kept me organized. But yeah, this was that special double episode War Paint where they had the Hirogen take over Voyager, and they make everybody think that they're holiday characters.
That was a great episode.
Yeah, and they hunted them.
Come here, guys. I'm going to roll it back, but before I go, I'm going to give everyone a couple of minutes to kind of plug what they're doing next. DMC, have you any videos or anything coming out in the pipeline that you want to plug?
I'm going to have a go at doing some more tag videos.
Oh, cool.
There's one on Nightmare on Elm Street and a few other ones. Yep.
Very cool.
Look forward to it.
Cool.
Very cool.
Food Moon, what about yourself, dude? Have you any videos in the pipeline?
I've got one that I'm working on. I'm actually encoded it tonight. It will be up Saturday on YouTube. It'll be up tomorrow on Patreon, and it's another episode of the video game that I've been playing. And after that, I think I've got another movie review coming up next, but I haven't decided yet.
Cool. Okay,
Very
cool.
Cool.
My lovely lady, what about you? What have you and son in the pipeline?
Well, right now we just put up the new episode of Chucky, episode 4, Just Let Go. And then after that, tomorrow we are putting up Lamb, which, oh boy, that was a movie. That was a movie. We're not saying it's good. We're not saying it's bad. We're just saying it was a movie. Ooh.
And yourself, myself are going to be reviewing Slumber Party Massacre 3
For Trash Fire.
Fire
On Saturday.
Cool beans. Trench, have you anything in the pipeline?
Oh, nothing yet. I don't know if anything will happen, but when it does, it does.
Okay, Trench. Okay. Ethel, what about yourself? What have you got planned for this month? Because you're back in charge in November again, right?
Yeah. So hold on. Let me grab my list because I got a list. I got to make a list. Always make a list, guys. That's like tip number one. So yeah, this month I got Sundays again. So Sci-Fi Sunday is back. This weekend, Sunday, we're doing favorite turkeys. And I'm not talking about food, guys. I know I say I'm a turkey right here in the little description, but no, I'm talking about movies that are bad. They suck, but that's why you love them. You love them because they're turkeys. Because it sucks. It's great. And then of course because and I got a bunch of other Sunday stuff if you want me to continue plugging it, or I could just leave it with one plug. Marty, it's up to you.
Keep going, so people can know what's in store.
All right, and then the following Sunday, because it's Thanksgiving time, I decided the theme was going to be like Thanksgiving-y type stuff. So, of course, we have favorite turkeys this Sunday. Next Sunday, we got colonization of pictures or colonization of planets. Movies about colonizing other planets. You know, so that's kind of cool. And for the 21st, because in November, I guess they're premiering a new Star Trek spinoff. We're going to do the Star Trek stream again. We're going to attempt it again, guys. It's going to happen. We're going to do a deep dive. We're going to talk about it. It'll be great. And then to round out November, the last Sunday in November, we're going to do cannibal films because in Thanksgiving, you stuff your face. And that's what cannibals do. They stuff your face into their mouth.
That's genius.
It's great.
Perfect.
Yay, cannibalism, yay.
Yay.
I, for one, I'm looking forward to that. Also, guys, if you haven't checked it out, the fantastic Ethel Cross done an awesome job with the Candy Corn Conga Line Channel Hop. Yes, I fucking got it right. But yeah, it was great fun. I participated. A good few people here participated. And if I'm not mistaken, Ethel, you have it in a playlist, so people can go back and check it out if they missed one of the shows and stuff. It was great fun, and there's some great people involved, so definitely check that out. I myself, as I said before. Oh, sorry, Ethel, what?
I was just going to add, and if you did miss it, don't worry because the playlist is in broadcast order. So it starts with Brittany and it ends with Jen and Christian. It goes all the way through. You can take 2 days out of your life. You could stay up all night like I did.
Or you can just skip Jen and Christian and that'll save you some time.
There you go.
Myself, I have 2 videos up recently. Speaking of VHS things, I done myself my own little video store diorama. I might expand on it.
Yeah, that was really good. It was really good.
Thank you very much. And I also done a review on James Samuel's new movie, The Harder They Fall, a really interesting kick-ass revisionist western that's on Netflix. Entirely African-American cast, African-American director, really cool, great cast, Idris Elba, Regina King, Zazie Beetz, Delroy Lindo, and the characters. While you wouldn't watch this movie to do a history test, it does take some prominent characters from the Wild West who were African-American. And yeah, it kicks arse. Also, guys, as a springboard for this, I'm going to put the deadline to the 2nd of December, but I'm going to put together a video. I'm going to get people involved in this and other people as well to maybe record maybe 5 minutes of their fondest memories of their VHS stores. I'm going to combine them all together and I'm going to put them into a special video that everyone can kind of like fucking go and check out. Everyone's favorite memories and favorite VHS covers and favorite aspects of renting videos. So, guys, if you want to record it, I'll set a couple of parameters. It can't be any longer than 5 minutes. At a push, if you want it. Okay, 7 to 5 minutes, no more than 7 minutes. And the deadline will be the 2nd of December. I'm going to cobble it together. One other thing is, if you can find a picture of your video store, be it the interior or the exterior, leave me a link to it, and I'll clip art it onto the thing as well if you want. You don't have to if you don't want to. But yeah, guys, I'm going to make a actual proper standalone, not just a stream video, VHS memories and ode to video stores. That's going to be a standalone video as well. And I want everyone to contribute. I don't care how long the video turns out to be, but I ask like 5 minutes, 7 minutes at a push, but keep it to 5. And whoever wants to get involved, and again, the deadline is going to be December the 2nd, because I will be back from Spain then, and I will be able to fucking sort that out. But big thanks to everyone who joined me tonight. Big thanks to Frank Leonard. Also, big thanks to Ben Gribb. We had, who else had we had Strange Monkey in the chat. We had Tino from the horror show. We had the Horror Man. We had we had obviously Full Moon and DMC were in the chat also. But thanks a million for joining me, DMC. Full Moon, Ethel, pleasure as always. You're part of the family at this stage. Trenchy, same to you.
Oh, yeah.
Glad you didn't die from consuming that cat pee on Halloween.
Oh yeah.
And, my lovely
No, it
lady as
wasn't
well.
the first time.
Oh, Jenny, you're still going to get Martin back for giving you that Irish candy.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, I still owe you for that, darling.
Oh, you love me still. But yeah, guys, come here.
Yep.
Again, check out these awesome people. And if you can, and if you want, again, I am looking for contributions to the standalone video for this. Again, your memories, your cherished memories, or favorite thing about renting, and your favorite place you used to rent. Make a 5-minute video, unlist it and link me the video. I will download it and cobble it together, and we'll have ourselves a right nostalgia trip. So yeah, have a good one. Take care. Bye now.
Later.
Adios.
Yeah.